You wake up every day fighting yourself. You might not see it that way, but that's the truth. The first battle of your day isn't with the world, it's with your own mind. The voices in your head, the emotions that try to drag you back into the same old habits, the same old pain. You tell yourself you're fine, you tell yourself you're strong, but strength isn't pretending you're not affected, it's learning to control what affects you. You can act calm, you can fake composure, but if your emotions own you, they will eventually expose you. Every man reaches a point where he realizes, if I don't master what's inside, what's outside will destroy me. You've probably been there, when life hits you harder than you expected, and you feel that anger, that fear, that frustration burning inside you. You try to fight it, but it keeps coming back stronger each time. That's because emotions don't vanish when you ignore them. They wait. They hide beneath the surface, waiting for the moment you lose focus, and then they take over.
You've seen what happens when men lose control. One bad decision made in anger. One outburst that costs a relationship. One act of pride that turns into years of regret. You've seen it, maybe you've lived it, and you know deep down that emotion left unchecked is chaos, waiting for a moment to explode. You can't call yourself strong if your emotions decide who you are, because when anger controls you, it speaks for you. When fear controls you, it limits you. When sadness controls you, it paralyzes you. And when pride controls you, it blinds you. Every emotion you don't master becomes your master. And here's the thing, you were never meant to be a slave to what you feel. You were built to lead your emotions, not be led by them.
There's a reason emotional control is so rare today. It's hard. It's hard to stay calm when you're disrespected. It's hard to stay disciplined when you're tired. It's hard to stay focused when everything's falling apart. But that's what separates a man who leads from a man who follows. Anyone can be controlled by their emotions. Anyone can react. But only a few can pause, breathe, and respond. Only a few can feel the fire and still choose reason. That's what makes emotional control powerful, because it's the one thing that can't be faked. You can fake confidence, you can fake kindness, you can fake happiness, but you cannot fake control.
You've probably learned by now that the world doesn't care how you feel. It rewards what you do. It doesn't ask whether you're tired, hurt, or angry. It measures how you perform in spite of it. That's why emotional mastery is so crucial. Because when you're ruled by emotion, you're unpredictable. And when you're unpredictable, you're weak. You can't lead a family, a business, or even yourself if you're controlled by your impulses. Every time you lose your temper, you lose power. Every time you let fear decide your future, you give up your authority. Every time you break under pressure, you tell the world your emotions are stronger than your purpose. Real strength isn't loud. It's quiet. It's the kind of calm that makes other people nervous because they can't figure out what you're thinking. You felt that, haven't you? That moment when everyone's panicking and you're just still, focused, controlled. That's when you're at your most dangerous. Because emotion doesn't rule you. Discipline does.
There's a war every man fights, and it doesn't happen in the streets, it happens in the mind. It's the war between emotion and reason, between what you feel and what you know is right. And if you don't win that war daily, you'll lose battles that should have been easy victories. Anger will whisper, they disrespected you. Fear will whisper, you're not ready. Ego will whisper, you're better than them. And sadness will whisper, what's the point of trying? They sound convincing because they use your own voice. But if you listen too long, they'll turn you into someone you no longer recognize. So you have to train your emotions like soldiers, strict, disciplined, controlled. They don't make the decisions, you do. They don't tell you how to act, you tell them how to serve your purpose. That's what real masculinity is. Not power over others, but power over yourself.
You want to know what separates strong men from weak men? It's not muscles, money, or fame, it's control. Self-control is the foundation of every great man who's ever lived. You can have everything in the world, status, influence, attention, but if you can't control your anger, your lust, your fear, your ego, you'll lose it all. You'll destroy what you built. You'll ruin relationships. You'll burn bridges. And you'll call it bad luck when in reality, it was bad control. A man who cannot control himself is already defeated. And that's the truth most people can't handle, because it's easier to blame the world than to face yourself.
Mastering your emotions isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about learning to feel everything and still act intentionally. It's not suppression, it's direction. When you master your emotions, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop seeking revenge and start seeking resolution. You stop chasing approval and start chasing purpose. And you'll notice something. When you gain control over your emotions, people start losing control over you. They can insult you, but you won't break. They can abandon you, but you'll keep moving. They can doubt you, but you'll stay focused. Because your strength no longer depends on what happens around you. It's built from what happens within you. Pain will visit you. That's not a threat, that's a promise. You'll lose things you thought you couldn't live without. You'll get betrayed by people you trusted. You'll fail in ways that humble you. But pain isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. It's showing you where you still need to grow, what still triggers you, what still controls you. If you listen, pain will make you stronger. If you resist, it'll destroy you. Every emotion carries a message. Fear says, prepare. Anger says, set boundaries. Sadness says, heal. Guilt says, take responsibility. But most men are too busy running from the emotion to hear the message. You can't heal what you refuse to feel. You can't master what you refuse to face. So stop running, sit with your emotions, understand them, then rise and lead them.
You've been told that being emotional makes you weak. That's not true. Being controlled by your emotions makes you weak, but mastering them, that makes you powerful beyond measure. Because a man who can sit with anger and not lash out, who can face fear and still move forward, who can feel heartbreak and not lose his purpose, that man is dangerous. That man is unstoppable. You've met men like that, calm, collected, steady, even in chaos. You can feel something different about them. That's not arrogance, that's control. They've been through hell, but they didn't let hell live inside them. That's what you're becoming. Not emotionless, but emotionally invincible.
One day, everything will fall apart, and when it does, your emotions will beg you to panic. They'll tell you it's over. They'll tell you to give up. They'll scream louder than your logic, louder than your discipline, louder than your faith. And that's the moment that defines you. That's when you prove who's in control. You are your emotions. If you can breathe in that chaos, if you can choose stillness in the storm, then congratulations, you've already won. There comes a time when silence becomes your greatest weapon. You used to chase validation, prove your worth, explain yourself to people who never cared to understand. Now you know better. Stillness isn't weakness, it's control. It's the calm that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. Because the loudest man in the room is rarely the strongest. He's just the most desperate to be heard. You, on the other hand, are learning to move differently, to let your work speak.
To let your discipline make the noise. You no longer need to prove you're powerful, you just are. And that unnerves people. Because when a man stops reacting, he becomes unpredictable. They can't manipulate him. They can't guilt trip him. They can't drag him back into the emotional chaos he's outgrown. You become a wall they can't move. Not because you're cold, but because you're controlled. Stillness isn't about staying motionless. It's about moving with precision. You don't waste words. You don't waste energy. Every action is deliberate. Every silence has meaning. That's the power of a man who's learned that emotions are meant to serve his mission, not sabotage it. You used to think strength was loud, that it was shouting, fighting, proving dominance. But real strength is quiet. It's walking away when your ego screams to stay. It's choosing peace when anger tempts you to burn bridges.
It's waking up every morning and doing what needs to be done even when no one's watching. Strength isn't how hard you hit. It's how much you can take and still move forward, because life won't stop hitting. It'll test your patience, your faith, your endurance. But that's where men are forged, not in comfort, but in conflict. You don't grow when everything's easy. You grow when your back's against the wall, when your emotions are raging, and you still choose discipline over drama. That's when you transform from being emotional to being powerful. There's a version of you buried beneath all the noise, the opinions, the fears, the expectations, and to rebuild him, you've got to strip away everything that isn't you. The weak version of you fed off comfort. The strong version feeds off challenge.
You rebuild yourself by breaking yourself intentionally, by doing the things that scare you, by facing the conversations you've been avoiding, by holding yourself accountable when it's easier to make excuses. Discipline isn't punishment, it's self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you send a message to your mind, I can be trusted. And that's the foundation of unshakable confidence. The gym, the grind, the solitude. They aren't random habits, they're your training grounds. That's where the noise fades. That's where you learn to hear your own voice again. Not the voice of doubt, not the voice of fear, but the voice that says, this is who I'm meant to be. There's a moment every man must face when he realizes no one's coming to save him. No one's gonna fix his life. No one's gonna carry his weight. It's brutal, but it's also freeing.
Because when you stop waiting for help, you start building yourself. You stop depending on motivation and start depending on consistency. You stop chasing comfort and start chasing growth. You understand that life isn't supposed to be fair. It's supposed to be earned. So you rebuild, brick by brick, habit by habit, failure by failure, And one day you'll look in the mirror and realize the man staring back at you isn't who you were. He's sharper, quieter, stronger, quieter, stronger. And you'll feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Respect for yourself. Every victory comes with a price. Emotional control, self-discipline, resilience, they all demand sacrifice. You'll lose people, you'll lose comfort, you'll lose versions of yourself that were built for survival, not for greatness. But that's the price of evolution. You can't hold on to the boy and become the man at the same time.
And that's what most men fear. Not failure, not pain, but change. Because change means leaving behind the identity that once protected you. But if you never outgrow your pain, you'll spend your life defending your wounds instead of healing them. Control doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you choose your response. When people disrespect you, you don't react with rage. You respond with power. When failure comes, you don't collapse. You analyze, you adapt, you rise. Because every time you stay calm under fire, you train your mind to obey your will. That's mastery. You no longer live by emotions, you use them as fuel. You turn heartbreak into hunger, rejection into redirection, pain into precision. The man who can do that doesn't need motivation, he is motivation. At some point you realize this isn't just about you, it's about the men who come after you. Your sons, your brothers, your people, they're watching.
They're learning what strength looks like. They're learning how a man stands when the world tests him. Legacy isn't built through words, it's built through presence. Through the way you carry yourself when things go wrong, through the calm you bring into chaos, through the respect you command without demanding it. You leave a legacy every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you act with integrity when no one's watching. Every time you forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. A man's legacy isn't measured in wealth or fame. It's measured in the number of people who became stronger just by watching him live. That's your real mission, to master yourself so completely that your example becomes the blueprint. Because the world doesn't need more loud men. It needs more grounded ones, more calm leaders, more men who know how to carry pain without spreading it.
You will be tested again. Life will try to drag you back into your old habits, your old emotions. But remember, you've trained for this. You've fought for this stillness. You've earned this control. When the storm comes, and it will, you won't break. You'll breathe. You'll focus. You'll move forward with precision and faith. Because you're not just surviving anymore. You're leading. You're building. You're becoming the kind of man chaos cannot move. And that's real freedom. Not the absence of struggle, but the mastery of self. You walk differently now. You speak differently. You no longer need to explain who you are. Your presence does it for you.
Because you've conquered the hardest battlefield of all, your own mind, and from this day forward, no matter what happens, remember this: you are in control. You decide what defines you. You decide what breaks you. You decide how this story ends. The world will keep testing your emotions, but you'll keep mastering them, because that's what strong men do. You've learned that pain isn't punishment, it's preparation.
Discipline isn't suffering, it's strength. And emotional control isn't coldness, it's power. You've built something most men never find: peace within chaos, purpose within pain, power within silence. And when you look back years from now, you won't just see survival, you'll see transformation. You'll see the moment you stopped letting emotions control you and started leading them. That's when you became dangerous. That's when you became unshakable. That's when you became a man of mastery.